this 10-minute lesson, go ahead and find a chair. Come to the edge of that chair. Remove your shoes and have both of your feet planted firmly on the ground. Rest your hands on your thighs and find your middle position. If you're looking at the screen, give yourself an opportunity to look away so that you don't have that locked eyes. The rest of your body can be free and your eyes can be free to follow your spine. So go ahead and find your sits bones. See if you can locate your left and your right and tune into feeling if one sits bone feels different to you than the other in the way that it rests on the floor, on the chair. Is your weight evenly distributed over left and right? Is one a little bit forward? Just see what you feel, knowing that you don't have to correct anything, just tuning in. And where do you sit on your sits bones? Right? A little bit forward or a little bit towards the back. Invite your body to relax so you can do a scan and see if there's anywhere where you're holding tension. Invite your belly to soften, your jaw, your tongue, your eyes, your shoulders. And then just begin to rock back. Feel as you rock back, you can slouch. Can you allow yourself to slouch and notice how your pelvis rocks back and then you rock forward. Feel how you sit up again. You rock back, you slouch, round and look down. You rock forward and you look up again. Place one hand on your belly, the other hand, back of that hand on your sacrum behind, and just feel the pelvic bowl rocking forward and back. And what you want to tune into is how, as you rock back, your belly comes up, your sacrum goes down. As you rock forward over your sits bones, your belly goes down and your sacrum comes up. And that's why you come up. See if you can allow for that to happen. Notice how wide your legs are and ask yourself, would this be any easier if my feet were in a different position, wider, closer together? And you can experiment with that. Allow your belly to spill out into your hand and really think of this idea of your belly going down and this back of your spine coming up. Your belly goes down, you come up. Okay, pause in the middle place for a moment. And then a couple of times, feel how you can start to contract your glutes towards your tailbone. Slowly, slowly, incrementally, and then release, 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 release. Slowly, 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 slowly. Do this a number of times. Feel how, as you contract, what's happening in your breathing. You breathe in or out. Can you allow the rest of your body to be soft and relaxed as you slowly contract your glutes? And if you do, does this create a reaction through your spine? Can you feel how your pelvis wants to rock back and your spine wants to round as you contract your glutes, and can you let it? If you do this a couple of times, just going to maybe 50, 60% of what you can actually do with your glutes. How does your breath start to coordinate? When do you want to breathe in and when do you want to breathe out? Okay, pause in the middle place. Bring your weight to be more over one sits bone. So you're just shifting your weight over to one side, and slowly begin to lift the other sits bone just a little bit. Come back to the middle and do that a couple of times. As you shift your weight over, your other sits bone comes up. Can you do this in such a way that as you shift your weight and your opposite sits bone comes up, you actually contract that glute of the rising sits bone? So you get heavier on one sits bone and lift the other, contracting just that glute on the one side. See what that feels like. It's kind of like you float up on one side as you sink on the other. Okay, and then switch to the other side. Just shift your weight slowly, 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 and then start to feel the lifting and contribute to that movement with the contraction of the glute on that side. Just a couple of times, feeling how you do it. What's the nicest coordination that you can find? You feel how it draws you into a little bit of a side bend. Nice and easy. And then just go back and forth, lifting one sits bone and the other, contracting one glute and the other. One side. So you're almost like a blade of grass waving in the wind, in the breeze, coming and going, side to side. And then begin to walk back with each lifting so that you start to scoot your sits bones back in the chair. One at a time, you walk back towards the back of your chair. Just a few inches or centimeters at a time. It doesn't have to be the most. You start to scoot back, and then you start to scoot forward. Each time you scoot forward, can you feel how that translates through the whole of your thigh, of your femur bone? You do that a couple of times, and then just make your way back a couple of times. Feel how your knee moves back with each step of your sits bone and forward more over your foot with each step of each sits bone. And then pause in the middle place. Pause at the edge of your chair. Rocking a few times, just gently. See if you can make this rocking of your pelvis be equal through your whole spine. So it's not just in your lumbar spine, but you feel it in the spine in between your shoulder blades, in your chest. Come back to the middle place. Now very slightly shift your weight over one leg, and the other, both sits bones are on the chair, but you're more weighted on one, and a couple of times do this rocking forward and back. Just gentle. Tucking the tailbone, lifting the tailbone. Spreading the movement through the whole spine. Tucking the tailbone, lifting the tailbone. All right, come back to the middle place. Feel middle. Slowly shift over to the other side. So your weight is more on one, just slightly, more on one sits bone than the other. And then rock back, tucking your tailbone, and rock forward, lifting your tailbone, dropping the belly. Rock back, pubic bone looks up, tucking the tailbone. Rock forward, dropping the belly, lifting the tail. Do that a couple of times. Over that sits bone, over that hip joint. And the other hip joint kind of just floats a little bit above the chair. in contact with it maybe, but not so much weight. Come back to the middle place. How does it feel over both sits bones? Do you have any clearer sense of your middle, of a sense of balance, both side to side and forward and back? And then go ahead and come to stand, finding your way to just bring your weight over your 2 feet and lifting yourself up into standing. So you make that transition nice and smooth without forcing the issue. And then when you come to standing, have a few moments there. Just stand over your 2 legs. What do you notice? What do you sense? Allow the weight of your arms to hang, your shoulders to drop, and take a few moments to walk around the room. Have some steps, one over the other, feeling what you sense in yourself. And can you be really clear about one side and the other? Does it light up for you in your mind's eye a little bit more, the sense of right and left? And maybe you can feel the beginning of a release. Maybe you can feel what you've been doing for the last hour, that you've been holding or clenching somewhere. You might be able to sense that now. And give yourself a few minutes walking around to see if you can ease into that release, ease into this new learning that you've just given yourself the opportunity to explore. One foot over the other, one side of your body fully taking your weight, and then the other as you move forward through space. Allowing that space in your low back, in your hip joints, in your belly. And enjoy.